We don't want you to be guarded of your language, but we want you to be aware of the things that you're saying that are helping you and the things that you're saying that aren't helping you. And pointing out what isn't working or what is not helping. It's a process, but of course it's a process. And the label of the process would be being aware when I'm shooting myself in the foot. Because if you're not shooting yourself in the foot, it's like the cork floats, that's alignment. You can hold it under the water, that's resistance, but when you let go, the cork will float. So you don't have to work hard at saying the right thing. You don't have to work hard. Just try to hold back a little bit on the conversation and the attention on the unwanted things. And the reason that you're doing it, everyone understands it, everyone does it. Esther does it too sometimes. But we don't let any of you off the hook, because as you are focusing upon any of that, you're holding yourself in resistance to what you really want. It's just that simple. And the more important thing is that you're keeping active a vibration to do it again and to do it again and to. So did you hear us when we said to you that here you stand in your powerful now? Now matters so much. We're going to give something to you that is very blunt and sure. Your inner being never looks back. So when you do, you disconnect from your inner being. It's just that simple. Your inner being is not looking back. Your inner being is only looking forward. So your inner being is looking forward with you toward all of the wonderful things that are coming to you. Yes, because of those bad experiences are what caused you to put good stuff in your vortex, but look at what you put in your vortex, not the reason that you put it in your vortex. So what's going on here, and don't feel bad about it, everybody does it, you're standing in a place not yet having manifested or received or realized the things that you really want. And so there's still this sort of justifying, it's a sort of human tendency. I need to explain to you why I'm not quite doing better. I need to explain to you where I've come from. But every time you explain where you've come from, you go back there and you assume that vibrational resistance to where you want to go. So do you think that when you know you have a problem, that you know the solution that you're looking for? Can you feel the difference between talking about the problem and looking for the solution without justifying needing the solution by activating the problem? You see, that's the thing. If you need to activate the problem in order to justify or defend the reason for the solution, then you're in deep doo-doo, because you're putting energy in both directions and you move nowhere. And no one can sort it out for you but you. It's the releasing of the resistance that causes you to move toward what you're wanting. There's a vibrational variance between a solution and a problem. There's a vibrational variance between a question and an answer. So it's just focusing more in the direction of what you want without explaining too much where you've come from. It's like saying, I want to go high up on that house or on that silo or on that mountain, but first I'm going to dig a really deep hole and I'm going to get in it, and then I'm going to climb out of the hole, and then I'll start climbing up. And we say, or you could just start where you are, save yourself the trouble of all that digging. That's all clear, that's all pure, there's no resistance in any of that, and you want every bit of that. But it's hard for you to say that because you're all wrapped up in what you don't want. This is the thing that we really want you to hear. Since you've already asked, not just in your words here, but you've been asking for a long time, your life experience caused you to ask. So there's a very strong asking that your inner being is hearing. And your inner being knows exactly how to get you from where you are to all of that. But every time you tell the story of where you've been or how you feel, then it just puts a smoke screen up that makes it impossible for you to hear or for you to follow any of the guidance that your inner being is giving you. And don't feel bad about it. Everybody gets that. When you feel like you're feeling, you just can't get there. So let's say there are 5 things you want and 4 of them are working great, but this one, not so much. If you could focus on any one of the 4 things that are working, that one would come into alignment. Or you can focus upon the one that isn't working and mess up the other 4. Anything you're focused upon is either opening or closing your switch of alignment to the clarity that you want. Look at it that way. Whatever you're focused upon is really flipping the switch of whether you're in a place where you can hear or where you're in a place where you can't hear. The universe isn't responding to your words. The universe is responding to how you feel. So here's something that is really wonderful. Your desire is strong enough that even with all this resistance around you, your vortex is really pulsing in a very strong way. But we just want to say to you, you can't get to any of those things you want as long as this is what's coming out of your mouth. And it isn't that we want this to just stop coming out of your mouth. We want you to stop feeling about these things. And the only way you can stop feeling this way is you've got to stop focusing on them and keeping them active. Because law of attraction will just keep bringing you more and more and more and more. So we want to help you to soften these subjects that are bothering you. Just soften them. So you focusing a lot on things you don't want, and law of attraction then yielding more to you of what you don't want is what causes you to be a strong thinker. So what happens is when you give your attention to something and you're looking really often at it, you activate a vibration within you that makes it difficult for you to think or see it in any other way. So what do you want us to say to you? You might as well just give up because you don't have discipline of thought. We don't believe that for a moment, because you have a powerful enough desire that even with all this garbage that you're laying on the other end of the track, you still light it up. Your desire is still very strong. So there's not only just hope for you getting to what you want, it's a sure thing in the moment that you let go of all of this other stuff. What has made you so defensive? Why do you need to explain so much why you're not where you want to be? Because you're a human being and you've been relating to others, and others are looking at you, and you feel like you're the center of attention, and people are looking at you and wanting to know why things aren't working out better for you. But the reason is always the same. You can't get there from here. You've got to do something different if you want something different to be your experience. And that's why it's thrilling to us that when you found the clips on YouTube and were watching them, you felt resonance with them. And the reason you felt resonance with them is because you were off the subject from moment to moment of things that were bothering you, and you got tuned right in with who you are, and you recognized, oh, this makes sense to me. You were feeling your power coming back. But when you then try to apply that power to something that's really bothering you, law of attraction won't yield to you. Esther said to us on many occasions, Abraham, can't I just be the one exception in all of the universe to this law of attraction? Can't you guys give me a break? And we say no, because what you want in your inner being is up here, and when you're down here, your inner being will not come down to join you. Now listen to this. This is the most important thing. Your inner being will not come down here to join you, and it's your separation between you and your inner being that's bothering you. Now, we're standing here with you, and because of our focus upon you, we are able, and through Esther, we are able to find words. But even though we're finding words, we're still not connecting with you because you're in a different vibrational frequency than we are. So we're going to back up and be more general. You are the creator of your own experience, and you are doing better than you are giving yourself credit. Things are getting better for you, but it's hard for you to see because you want perfection. Everyone does. Things are getting better for you, but not fast enough for you. But if you can try to be a little patient, you will begin to see that there is movement in the things that you want. Things are working out for you. All things have come together in your vortex to give you exactly what you want. In fact, you've been asking with such fervor that your vortex is calling you in a very powerful way. And do you know, the harder your inner being and your vortex, the harder what you want is calling you, the more you are aware of where you stand in relationship to it. So, any subject that is not working for you, you've got to get your attention off of it. And that is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing relative to your physical body. These are the three: your physical body, money, and love. Those are the subjects that are the most difficult for people not to notice where they are. And we want to shout at you, but you're not looking where it is. Where it is over here, where everything that you want is. And you say, no, I'm over here where it isn't. And we say, no, it's over here. Everything that you want is over here. Just feel for it a little bit. And you say, well, I'm looking for it over here and I don't see it. And we say, well, just feel for it. Just feel for it a little bit. Because if you get even anywhere close to it, then you begin to get movement, and your positive thoughts begin to turn to positive things. And before you know it, you've had some things breaking loose for you. And then there become more and more and more and more. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. And a belief is an active vibration that won't let another thought in. So you got to soften those beliefs. And we could tell you all kinds of wonderful things about yourself. Just feeling you. We know how much you deserve these things that you want, and we are certain that they are on the way. But it doesn't matter how much is on its way if you've got all of the things that are on the way in a holding pattern, because where you are has your door shut. And the indication that is easy to hear about the door being shut is the terminology that's coming out of your mouth. It's not the words we want you to change. It's the feeling behind the words that we want you to change. We want you to begin saying, from this moment until you start getting breakthrough, Abraham says that I am more optimistic than I am displaying. Abraham says I have the capacity to be more optimistic than I am being. Abraham says I no longer have to defend where I stand. Abraham says, I no longer have to defend where I stand. Abraham says, I'm in the perfect position to receive the things that I want. I'm in the perfect position to begin receiving the things that I want. Abraham said, it's going to get easier and easier and easier for me. Abraham says, I am a good person who deserves these things that I want, and I'm queued up for wonderful things to come, and they're not going to all come at once, but evidence of them is going to be showing itself to me on a daily basis. What difference does it make how the universe is surprising and delighting you? Your work is to allow that to happen. Your work is to be surprisable and delightable. Your work is to be expectant of the things that you want to come, because you create your own reality, and you have created a vibrational reality that you are deserving of manifesting. It's time for you to cash in your vibrational chips. It's time for you to allow the things that you've put into your vortex. That's what we call it. We call this vibrational reality your vortex. We wrote a whole book about it. We wanted so much for you to accept it as a real thing. So your life causes you to do the first steps of deliberate creation, or of creation by default. Creation happens because life causes you to ask. You're sifting and sorting, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, and launching these rockets of desire constantly. And in that process, you have formed a vibrational reality, which is step 2 of the process. That's where Source answers what you've asked for. So there is a vibrational version of everything that you want, waiting for you to cause your vibration to rise to meet the vibrational frequency of what you have created. And that's hard for physical friends, because you are used to only getting excited about something when you see it. I'll believe it when I see it. And we say, that doesn't work out very well. You've got to believe it before you see it. And you say, but how can I believe it before I see it? And we say, well, you just can't believe against it before you see it. You don't really have to believe it before you see it, but you cannot believe in opposition to what you want without putting trains in opposition on your track. So we want to remind you that you're the one who's put all the resistance on your path, but your inner being isn't holding a grudge about that. Your inner being isn't saying, well, we've been calling you, but you've piled up so much resistance on your path you can't hear us. Or you've got so much resistance on your path you can't make your way. Instead, your inner being just calls you in another way, and in another way, and in another way, and in another way, because you can't find something that you believe is lost, because you want to find it, but you believe it is lost, and so you are blinded to it. And you know you've had those experiences. Haven't you looked for something that was right under your nose? Haven't you accused everyone else in the house of moving it? Which is fine until you're in the house alone. And you just had it, and now you can't find it. And the reason you can't find it is because you're blind to what you believe you cannot find, you see. So, really good. We're going to have a good day.